Hello and welcome back to the channel. On today's video I'm going to talk all about bombing on stage. What to do when the night is not going to plan. What to do when the audience are simply not paying attention. And this happens at every type of night. No matter how long you've been a comedian, there's going to be some nights where the audience just suck a little bit. But there's something you can do if you follow the basics. I'm going to give you a few techniques and tips on this video, and you're going to understand that it doesn't necessarily need to be the nightmare that you have come to believe or heard about or whatever. So it's very important to know straight out the gate that every single comedian who's ever been on stage will have experienced dying on their ass time and time again, and will have experienced performing in front of a really difficult audience time and time again, and that never goes away, and I don't think it ever should go away. There should always be now and then really difficult gigs. That's what's going to make us better comedians. So what I'm going to cover in this video is staying calm and delivering your set, sticking to it and delivering some sort of a set. I'm going to uncover exactly what that means as we go along. Number two we're going to cover is keep the material as related to the immediate situation as you possibly can, which means talk more about things that are happening in that room that you're performing comedy, or opening up conversations with the audience more than you normally would, and you're going to link your material to the things that happen either in that room or with a conversation. I'm going to cover that in a little bit of detail, and we're also going to cover topics that make you happy. Only do material on topics that make you happy. You do not want to go up in a night where it's already going bad and you're going to go up and start complaining about your day or complaining about things. Now, if you've got some experience behind you and you know how to complain and make it funny, by all means, go ahead and do so. But the easier material is one that you're going to talk about that makes you happy, something that makes you feel good, because if you talk about that, it's kind of a good way of talking with charisma on stage, and that's what those difficult nights are missing. They're missing fun and someone going up there with a bit of subtle fun behind their psychology of performing. And the more you talk about things that make you happy, the easier it is to tap into that fun part of your persona on stage that people like, that charismatic side. Of course, what I'm doing on this video and all the other videos is promoting the number one thing I do on this channel, which are the feedback videos. If you have a performance of up to 10 minutes long recorded in front of a live audience at any type of show, you can send it in to me and I will give you a positive critique on that performance. I will send you back maybe a 30 to 40 minute video highlighting all of the things that's working for you, all the ideas that I have for you in terms of joke writing, structure, audience awareness, perception, and everything else I notice. So if you want to support the channel and you want to check out that service, all the information along with the email address is in the description box. All right. Let's get back to the video. So number one is staying calm and delivering your material. What we must never do is say or talk about how bad the night is going. That is the most, if you take one thing from this video, never get on stage and talk about how bad the night is going. Because if the night's dragging, everybody in the room knows that already. They come out to escape, they come out to have a good time. And if the night happens to be going in a few bad directions for multiple reasons, it's your job to make it a little bit better. That's the job of everyone in the room who's got a part in that show, is to make the night a little bit better regardless of how the night is going. If it's a great night, your job as soon as you get onto the stage is to make it a little bit better in your own unique way. From the MC to all the comedians, they all play that part, right? No one gets on stage to make the night go worse. And so that's why it's really important, no matter what your material is like, it's important to make the night roll nice for all the other comedians. You're passing the ball. The MC is giving you the ball and you're passing it back to the MC to be able to pass it to another act in the future. So if you go up there and you die on your ass, that's perfectly fine for it to happen now and then. But if you go up there and intentionally lose the audience because you want to either shock them or lose them, that's not going to play ball with all the other comics, and the night will suffer. Now, it might happen to you once or twice or a couple of times, Perfectly fine if the end goal is to make the night better. But don't be one of those comedians who goes up on stage and just ruins it for everyone. But in this context, we're talking about if the night's going wrong. Well, the same thing applies. We want to make the night work better. How we do that is we stick to the absolute basics in our set. So here's the detail. If we have a piece of material, and let's say the opening piece we have is about work, it's about what we do for a living. Great, we can cover that, but we can cover it in a different way. You're still going to say the patter exactly as you have learnt it off, but how we're going to get there is going to be different. Rather than just going straight into it and talking about it, what we're going to do is have some material about the room, something that you have in common with everybody else, that's going to break the attention from people not listening to get the audience to listen. Because let's face it, there's no point in delivering comedy on stage if the audience in front of you are not listening. You may as well be at home practicing. You probably get more value from that. So if we have people in front of us in the room, we want them to be paying attention and watching us. So the best way of doing that is to break the tension with highlighting something nice, humorous and funny in the room. Or if that's not your style and you would like to talk to the audience, do it at the very beginning. Say something very nice and funny, open up a very light-hearted conversation with the front row, for example. And you can get to your material either way you choose. If you say something about the room, and let's say you wanted to talk about being a teacher. So if you say something funny about the room, and you get a little laugh out of it, you've already got a laugh before you get sacrifice any of your material. It makes yourself feel good. It gets the room connected a little bit, and then you connect that with being a teacher. It could be something as simple as, oh, well, if my pupils saw this, they would think XYZ, and you have an extra punchline for that. Great. Now you've got a laugh, you've used a punchline, and within saying the punchline, you have told them a little bit of information about where the set's going to go next. You've mentioned my pupils. So now you can go, oh yeah, of course I'm a teacher. And you can do the bit just as you planned before. But what you've done is you've broken the tension before getting there. And the more you connect material to being directly in that room, the better the set's going to be. So then you might think, oh, should I sacrifice some of my material in order just to do material that's connected to the room in those bad gigs? And the answer is always yes. Sacrifice some of the material that's a little bit harder to connect with the audience over material that you know just stay in the room. Talk about how many lights there are. Talk about what's behind this mysterious door on the stage. Talk about why there's a blacked out window over here. Talk about is there a TV in the room. There's always funny things to say about the room you're in. Even if it's a beautiful venue, you can still highlight, there's a trap door over here in the stage. You can make some fun of that. Usually it's always good though to make fun of something that everybody can see, but even if you get a couple of laughs with that, you can start making fun of things that people can't even see. But by keeping it immediate to the situation in the room is always going to be successful. And then, and only then, can you, after you've got them, can you go and on your tangents and talk about the material you cover. And again, I cannot stress enough, never give in and talk about how bad the night is going. We want to elevate it. We want to give them our best at all times. And yes, in those moments outside of that, you can try out your material. And if it doesn't connect, go back to immediate material about the room. Now, so what we're going to do is now cover topics that make you happy. So as I said, these are always going to be the best topics to cover are going to be about relationships. They're going to be about what we do for a living. They're going to be about your friends, your past, growing up, where you're from, your family. All those things are always the easiest way of connecting. We all have interesting things to say about these topics, and people are always interested in what we have to say about these topics, way more than what they think about you politically. People don't normally give a shit what they think of you politically unless you're an extremely experienced comedian, go up on stage and then talk politics or talk religion and your opinions on either of those topics. But those topics are really difficult to win over an audience and especially make them laugh. Incredibly hard to do so. So you're better off sticking with material that's really, really easy to cover, and in that material, stick the things you like talking about. Like, do you have a crazy friend that you get along really great with that is always up to doing no good? Or do they bring out the worst in you? And are there some horrific stories you can make fun of while being on the stage? They don't all need to be positive, but I'm getting at a positive angle because you do this particular thing with that friend. That's what I mean about talking about things that make you laugh. It could be funny stories that you think, oh, how the hell did I survive that? The audience are going to be in on it because it's fun when people tell those kind of stories. Or do you like your job? Or if you don't like your job and you want to cover topics about work, find something about it, your job, that you love. Even if it's the time, even if it's home time and you can't wait to get to home time, well, how then do you act at work looking for that thing? It can be just something so simple about what it is that makes us feel good. But if there's a tiny bit of what makes us feel good in the topic of what we're covering, then that alone is enough to get us feeling good and charismatic on the stage. Okay, so with all that, we never mention how bad the night's going, and we understand fully that every comedian of all time has gone through tough moments, and you will too. The only way of getting success as a performer, the only way of achieving success, of getting to the next stage, of being the kind of confident performer that walks on stage and knows no matter what, they're going to leave with at least the night being 5% better. On a good night, it's 20% better, it's 30% better. You smash it out of the park, it's 50% better. All because you follow the basics I've given you in this video. You know that it's a stepping stone, it's a blessing to do these bad gigs. And next time, you're not going to highlight how bad it is. Instead, you're going to stick with material that's been connected to the room, and you are going to keep it fresh, keep it positive, and you're going to talk nice and calm, get through your set. And when people see that you are wanting to pass the ball in a successful way to the MC after your set, you're going to get booked for those more important gigs, and you're going to be a force to be reckoned with. Okay, that's my rant over for today. I really hope you benefited from the video, and there's been a bird chirping the entire time, and I hope it's not going to wreck the audio, because if it is, I'm going to string its fucking neck.